Hey guys, welcome back to my channel to be accountable. It's your boy Mo. If you haven't already done so, you know the drill. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Man, you guys, it's been a minute since the last time I saw y'all. And honestly, it feels like this year really just breezed by because it is cold as hell in Chicago. And my apartment doesn't even have it has the apartment controlled heat and it's busted. So I have like a space heater in this room, space heater in the next room, and just trying not to freeze. Freeze out here. But it got me really thinking that like, damn, this year is already pretty much over. And something that I like to do towards the end of the year is, aside from tax planning, is to start thinking about like, what are my goals for next year? What did I do well this year? What did I need to work on? And then like, how do I kind of change that up? And it's something that I always do towards like November, December. And then in January, I have more of an executory plan of this, and that, or like what I want to accomplish this year. And that typically ends up happening around my birthday as well, since I am pretty much early January. But it's also got me thinking about I'm about to hit my late 20s because I'm about to turn 27. And in your late 20s, it seems like there are three overarching themes of stress because this is a time where I think you have to start making the really big adult life choices, right? And I think those tie down to one of three things, right? Relationships, career, and health. So I'm gonna start off with just with relationships, right? My background is Sudanese. I'm from the Sudanese culture. I'm also Muslim, and typically within a lot of religious households and immigrant households for Sudanese people, and then like even the friends and Muslim friends that I have out here that I started meeting up with, there tends to be this pressure to get married young. And the reason being is that when you get married young, you're able to kind of spend more energy and expend more energy when you have kids. You're able to reach more compromises. You're a little bit less set in your ways and you're more able to adapt. Granted that anybody could be set in their ways at any age, but for the most part, like when you're in your late 20s, early 20s, whatever it is, like you're a little bit more malleable. So the idea is that you get married early so that you're able to, like have some time to yourself, but also have your kids and be able to parent them very well. And I will say that for me, it hadn't never really been a pressure to myself until I moved to Chicago about relationships because you start to see your friend group, your circles, etc., going really in depth into relationships. So I see like I scroll through Instagram almost on like a weekly basis. I'll see somebody new getting engaged, or I'll see somebody already tying the knot, or somebody like announcing that they've been together for like a couple of years or celebrating some kind of anniversary. And it makes you start to think like, is this something I need to be pursuing? And granted, for myself at least, I've never been the type to really feel peer pressure or like succumb to peer pressure itself. But I think the way that it works here is that the imagery is all over you, right? You get the family always mentioning these things, the circle that you're surrounded by worried about finding these things, and you see it on social media that subconsciously it starts to become something that you yourself start stressing about, where it's like, I need to get married now, or I need to start like looking for a relationship. And I've seen so many people get together or settle for somebody that either doesn't love them or just doesn't is not compatible at all, just to say like, oh, I'm with somebody. And that to me in itself is all crazy. And that's just like the first stressor, or like one of the first big decisions that you kind of start to make in your life once you start heading towards 30. And the second one I really want to touch on is career. And in the age of social media, I don't know why this is, but it seems like there's this big pressure to already make it, to like be like a low level, or like a low level like multimillionaire, like you're making like 1 2 3 million dollars like in your mid 20s, which I think is an image mostly painted by social media. But for me, like in my circle, I've seen friends that have already done these things where I had been trying for a while, that it started to urge me a little bit more to be like, okay, well, I need to step my game up a bit. And it's also a time in your life where you have to start making the big financial moves, where it's, where do I want to live? Do I want to purchase or sell a car? Do I want to buy a home? Right? Do I want to invest more in stocks or some kind of assets? Do I want to start thinking towards my retirement? Do I want to start a business? Or if I'm already doing a business, how do I set myself up for that? And it becomes this whole thing of like putting yourself in a time limit. And when I say yourself, I'm really talking about myself because I've always felt this pressure now to like already be that guy or already be there, already have that foundation set up. And honestly, I don't think I'm in a bad position at all because like I have a very great job. I don't hate my life going into my job, and also I'm like working on these things on the side so that I can fully align my beliefs, my personality, and everything that I want to do into one thing so that I'm not looking at my week in a Monday through Friday and then the weekend, but more so like an entire linear week where I can enjoy every single day. And then lastly, I'm going to touch on health. And I think for health, you in your 20s, your like late 20s, your metabolism does start to slow down. And you think that it won't. And for some people, it just hits a little bit even later. But something I've talked to a lot of my friends in their 30s and like my parents and then just family in general. The general gist is that you want to start changing your eating habits, your eating and exercise habits so that you set yourself up for your 30s. For me, I started to take up calisthenics and some level of like loose gymnastics because I was the type to just go to the gym, I'd exercise and everything, and then you'd be like stiff as a board. It's kind of hard to like have the same range of motion. And I started to think more about knee strength, joint strength, like flexibility, etc. Like things that allow you to be more geared towards movement and strength rather than just bulking up or just sizing down. It's like wanting to have more purpose behind the movement, more purpose behind the exercises. And as far as health goes, it's kind of like you can't eat the same way that you were eating before because if you do, you're maintaining that habit into your 30s. And when your metabolism slows down, that is literally how you blow up, right? That's how you start to not only gain weight, but this is the time where you're at risk for a lot more health issues. For me, and like both of my parents' sides are genetically predisposed to diabetes. So, and like I believe in my father's side, a lot of them's their diabetes started to get activated or became active in their 30s. For me, that's a big fear. So I'd always try to like eat as healthy as I can, although I do have an African sweet tooth. Um, and then I also like savory and highly salty food. So it's like kind of figuring out, okay, well, I got to keep my blood sugar level set. And at the same time, I got to watch out for my cholesterol. And obviously you think that those are old people problems, but it's if you want to kind of like be in a great health spot, especially for me, I realized that if I'm not doing like a healthy diet or eating bad for a while, it just feels so heavy and muggy where I have no energy throughout the day. Plus, when you're working like a corporate job or doing all these tasks on the side, I'm on my computer a lot. So I'm always sitting down. So I have to find these substitutes of like, how do I do this thing? How do I do that thing while still keeping my range of motion or still being able to, function without coffee? And also coffee is a huge one. I've seen a lot of people start to cut it out of their diet because what I realize is aside from a caffeine crash, like coffee just makes me more tweaky or anxious in a way. It doesn't actually provide me with any energy. Like I feel sleepy even after I drink coffee, and it doesn't make my mind function anymore. It doesn't really help me do anything. It just makes it harder to fall asleep. Although you are very tired and sleepy, so you're not even paying attention for like, the things that you're trying to do. But I think those are the three big encapsulating pressures that I feel are related to your late 20s. They may translate before that or even afterwards, but I think this is a period of time where it's the heaviest because every age group comes with its own challenges, its own pressures, right? Like for me, graduating out of college, there was the immense pressure right away to, if you didn't already have a job, to start looking for a job. And then a crisis of my degree doesn't match what I want to do. And also figuring out what you're going to do with your life and what your routine is going to be because you're suddenly taken out of this placement where you're surrounded by people who are all doing the same goal as you or just a surrounding being provided for you, a setting of social interaction. Whereas now, especially post college, you have to make those circles. Like you have to go out and find people that you can click with. You have to go out and do the things that you're interested in to meet people. You have to be way more proactive than passive like you did in college. So I think those are the main encapsulating things. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Are there any significant pressures that you guys are facing? Is there anything that you think I missed that's related to your late 20s? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next video.